Thursday, April 16th. I am sending it out this soon because there is review for Quiz 1 that you could start looking at and figuring out. Quiz 1 you will take on Friday. So this is the language lesson for April 16th, Thursday. Lesson 4 is due for this date. So if you are not yet finished with lesson 4, you should not be watching this video. So get finished with lesson 4 and then you can watch this video, because this video has answers for lesson 4. Here is the diagram number 7, lesson 4, page 12. This has to do with the positives and whatever else, but yes, the positives is the lesson. Here's the diagram for number 7. Now this subject is a little hard to figure out. There is not a subject. There, where, there is an adverb saying where it is. All right, so there should be under the verb is. Plenty is the subject. Plenty is. There is an adverb. Plenty of pizza, prepositional phrase. And why is it? It's for you boys. Boys is the appositive. Okay, you, then boys on the same line as you, it renames you. It's the same thing. If, 7th grade, if you have this prepositional phrase under pizza, saying which pizza, the pizza that's for you boys, I can handle that. Okay, so for you boys, it has to be diagrammed like this, but it can be either under is or under pizza. Right, and this isn't a positive. Positive. That's how a positive is diagrammed. On the line, a positives are words, nouns that rename nouns or pronouns, and they do not have a linking verb. They come shortly after the word that they rename without a linking verb. All right, let's look at number 1. Let's grade these, some of these, in lesson 4. Number 1, page 12. You're supposed to underline appositive phrases and circle the appositive. The appositive phrase is any adjectives, prepositional phrases that describe the appositive. So the appositive phrase in number 1, Australia, an island continent. You should underline an island continent, and then the appositive is continent. Circle continent, don't circle island, all right? An island continent, underlined, circle continent. Number 3, Dr. Winters, a veterinarian, underline a veterinarian, circle veterinarian. And if you kept going, you found another one in this sentence. Examine Mike's collie, Sheba. You should circle Sheba. That is renaming the collie. Number 5, if you missed the Sheba, just one wrong there at the end of that. Don't give up on a sentence. Don't quit before you read the whole thing. Number 5, the Darling River, Australia's longest river. Australia's longest river, underline, and river should be circled. River is the actual positive. All right? So the appositive is the word that comes after and renames without a linking verb. No linking verbs involved. So in number 9, the diagram, you have a compound appositive. You have Australia, and then you rename Australia, calling it an island and a continent on the rocket in parentheses. And I think you can maybe figure the rest out. Lies is the verb, and then you have the prepositional phrases there. All right? Number 11, underline the adjectives, circle the adverbs. There are no adverbs in number 11. There's quite a row of adjectives. And you notice that on the quiz, you will need to know adjectives. There are lots of adjectives in sentences usually, okay? There can be words that modify nouns or pronouns. They say which one, what kind, how many, and whose. Number 11, the, long, narrow, leathery are all adjectives, and the eucalyptus. Remember words a, an, and the, and usually the words that come between The article, like the, and the noun, it's the leaves, all the words in between there are usually adjectives. The, long, narrow, leathery, leaves. So find your nouns and find the words that modify them. 13, put parentheses around prepositional phrases. Label each one as an adjective or an adverb. So number 13, prepositional phrases would be at the fabric store, for the buttons, and for your new dress. 3 in parentheses. I will stop. Where? At the fabric store. That's an adverb phrase. Why? For buttons would be an adverb phrase. All right? And then for your new dress is describing the buttons, so that is an adjective. So at the fabric store, adverb. For buttons, adverb. For your new dress, adjective. Your test will have sections like 21 through 26. Underline the verbs. Write action or being, or action or linking. Don't forget to underline helping verbs. Okay, helping verbs. But then the main verb is the last verb in your verb phrase. Have been going. Going is action. Have been, that's simply being. All right, unless it's linking. So action or linking. So number 21, the Aborigines were the first settlers of Australia. Were should be underlined, and that is linking. And then you're supposed to go back and label the predicate adjectives, predicate nominatives, or circle direct objects and put parentheses around indirect objects. Remember, if there's a linking verb, then you either have a predicate adjective describing the subject or a predicate nominative renaming the subject. So if number 21, if were is linking, then you have either a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective. Settlers, you would label as a PN, predicate nominative. 23, wealthy farmers in the Australian outback use airplanes for transportation. The verb is use, that is action, and airplane should be circled as a direct object. Use is action verb, and airplane should be circled as a direct object. 25, students in the outback talk to their teachers on two-way radios. Students talk that is simply talk is an action verb and there are no complements. Students talk because to their teachers is a prepositional phrase and on two-way radios is a prepositional phrase, and there can't be direct objects and indirect objects in prepositional phrases. So all you do is underline talk, and that is action. Quickly, let's look at this first part, 30 through 38 in spelling, just for the fun of it, and then we will talk about what's on quiz number 1. 30, a train is a dragon that roars through the dark. So saying that a train is actually a dragon, that is metaphor. 31, I ate a mile-high ice cream cone yesterday. Exaggeration is hyperbole. A round circle. Well, that's no duh, right? Circles are all round. That is redundant. That's like your free gift, round circle, square box, I don't know. Something like that. Square box would be quite because you have rectangles and stuff like that too. But a round circle, circles are always round, so that's redundant. 33, rogues and wretches, ruffians, riffraff, reprobates, and rapscallions. That is alliteration. Salvation is free, yet it costs everything. That is a paradox. So it's free, but it costs. 35, he moved through the forest silently as. Like and as means it's simile. When you see something like this, you have metaphor, you have the language of it, the root words, what they mean, and things like that. That is the etymology. Etymology. I got it straight from the horse's mouth. All right? If you would say that to some foreigner, he would be like picturing you reaching into the horse's mouth and, you know, pulling whatever out. It's an idiom. Objective consideration of contemporary phenomena compels the conclusion that success or failure in competitive activities exhibits no tendency to be commensurate with innate capacity, but that a considerable amount of unpredictable must inevitably be taken into account. Something that is very wordy, too many words, it's quite confusing actually, is verbiage. All right, quiz 1 will be on Monday, and this is kind of what it looks like. Turn to it here so I can tell you a little bit. Quiz number 1. Adjectives. You will have 4 sentences. 4 sentences where you are supposed to underline adjectives and participles. So all adjectives, including the participles, you underline. There are 4 sentences, and there are 25 adjectives in those sentences. All right? You simply underline adjectives, so know what adjectives are. I already talked about that a little bit. Put parentheses around adjective phrases. What do you know about prepositional phrases that modify adjectives? They answer the questions that adjectives answer. You use your reference sheet to find this. And they always come right after the word they modify. Okay, so if it's going anywhere else, if it's modifying anywhere else in the sentence besides the word that comes right before it, it is not an adjective phrase. So you check it, because there could be some adverb phrases in here. So don't just randomly put parentheses around all prepositional phrases, only around adjective phrases. Be able to recognize verbs as either action, being, or linking. And again, if they're in a verb phrase, if there's helping verbs, you look at the last verb and say, is this one the being verb, the action verb, or linking verb? There will be a section like you did in this assignment where you you underline the verbs or verb phrases, you write whether they're action, being, or linking, and then you go back and you label the predicate adjectives, predicate nominatives, and circle direct objects and put indirect objects in parentheses. Know the relationship. Know that predicate adjectives and nominatives go with linking verbs. Know that direct objects and indirect objects go with action verbs. If there is no action, don't be circling objects if there's no action. Remember, prepositional phrases, none of these things are in prepositional phrases. All right? So if you see prepositional phrases, you can rule out any of these being in there. Direct object comes after the action verb, receives the action. He hit Alex the ball. What got hit? Alex didn't get hit, at least not yet, not until I throw him the ball. The ball got hit, so ball is the direct object. If there is an indirect object, in this case Alex, it comes between the action verb, after the action verb, before the direct object. And the direct object is going to the indirect object. So please, by now, you should be figuring that stuff out. So adjectives, know your adjectives, and then verbs, linking, action, being, and direct objects, indirect objects, predicate nominatives, predicate adjectives. There are 2 diagrams, but this is the biggest part of what you need to know. So check that out. Adjectives, participles, adjective phrases, action, being, or linking verbs, predicate adjectives and nominatives, direct and indirect objects. All right. Thank you. I'll let you go.